I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you since the official WBC announcement. How are you feeling about that? What went into your thinking when you were trying to decide whether to do it or not?
Yeah, something I wanted to do a couple years ago. Something that just I feel like anytime you get a chance to play for your country, I mean, for all these guys, right? Listen to Jung Hoo talk about playing for the Korean team is really cool, and I feel the same way about the USA team. And I think DeRosa texted me a lot over these past 3 years, and um, I just kind of I was actually with David Ross and Pat McAfee when I was like, all right, I'll do it, and I'm excited about it. I'm trying to treat this off season as normal as possible, but definitely know there's going to be a little more adrenaline going into springtime.
Do you prepare differently?
No, because I'm still going to get a couple starts in before I leave. It's the same build up that I've always done. Um, I think there's just there's an intensity part of it maybe that I've maybe amplified a little bit, but I think it's pretty much the same.
What were your talks with the team like as you were trying to decide?
Um, uh, Obviously they have their thoughts about it. I think that's known, but at the end of the day, it's my decision. So.
Logan, you may have done these fan fests before, but this crowd out here is really insane. What do you think of the numbers that showed up today?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I've done on the FanFest tour. I've only done Sacramento, so it's good to do a different one, and excited to see. I love the East Bay. Is this considered East Bay, right? Yeah. All right. I love the East Bay. I love being out here, and so it's fun to see the fans excited and ready to see everybody.
What's the vibe like in the clubhouse with the other players you speak with as you guys usher in a new era with the new manager?
Well, we haven't been in a clubhouse yet together, but I'm sure it'll be great. I think Tony brings a lot of energy, so hopefully we just kind of feed off of that.
You guys obviously added a couple of starters. How you feel about the state of rotation kind of heading into the season right now?
Yeah, I think Tyler Malley and Hauser are going to be great additions for us. And then you got all the young guys that we have already that'll that we're all excited about. I think at some point, and this is they could say the same thing. We just expect them to take that next step. And a lot of them have been in Arizona working out, and I've seen them a lot. So. Excited for all of them.
Logan, is there anybody in particular, aside from potentially some of your own teammates, who you're most excited to play with the WBC?
Well, Aaron Judge is obviously probably the main guy that I'm really excited to play with. I was involved in a lot of the Arson Judge situation, so I got to do the visit with him, and I wanted to be his teammate then, and now I get to do it. So it'll be exciting. We've texted back and forth a little bit, and it'll be fun to just watch a lot of these guys take BP, let alone play in the game.
I guess it might hinge on how your schedule works, but you kind of maybe want to lobby for that game against the Giants as part of Team USA.
I know when I'm pitching, and I know I'm not turning against the Giants. I'm not going to say when I'm pitching because I'm going to let Mark do that, and I don't want to be the one who says anything, but I will not be pitching against the Giants. I wanted to though, but.
Have you personally, you know, had you known your two new starters prior to this?
No, I did not know them. I have not met either of them. But I played with a bunch of guys who played with Malley and Hauser. So talking to those guys, good guys. So.
So you finished 500 last year, and these are the two main positions. Backup catcher and a couple of relievers. Is that enough?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just got to go out and play better. There's those types of things are not my job. That's I'm not the GM. I'm not the owner. I'm just, my job is to go out there and pitch every 5 days, and it's our job in the clubhouse, the 26 of us and the coaching staff, to just try to maximize our potential and value, and hopefully we just gotta do that.
And then the Dodgers will won it all, and they got Tucker and Diaz. Do you feel like, hey, we should do more to catch up with those guys, or is that just a different world?
Still, man, you got some hard questions for me. Yeah, still, like I said, it's not my job to add guys or to do anything, and it's our job to go out there and try to compete. Obviously, yeah, I mean, it's not fun for me to watch the team that won it and the team that kicked our ass a lot last year, to go out and get some really good players, just to make it more difficult. But at the end of the day, you just gotta play better, gotta be better, and hopefully we do that.
You see an upside, especially in the rotation, not with just the two new guys, but you've seen most of all those young guys who are knocking on the door and might have an impact this year?
Yeah, I mean, from the get-go, I mean, you got, Robbie's a Cy Young winner. He's an all-star last year. He looks really good right now. I've been able to watch him throw bullpens and be out in Arizona, so I'm super excited for him. He, I think he was a little disappointed about Denver last year, but he's ready to go. And same with Roop, Birdsong, I'm super excited about. And there's a ton of guys. Trevor McDonald at the end of the year was really good. Wisdom Hunt has a ton of. I mean, I could keep going on, but like I said before, you just gotta, at some point, you gotta step up and start doing it. As players, we all go through that little bit where you might get your butt kicked, but at some point, you just gotta.
And you know more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my butt kicked a lot, and then it was kind of the same thing. I got sent to the bullpen. I was optioned that year. I was going to come back as a reliever. Injuries happened, and I became a starter. And you just kind of got to take that opportunity and run with it. And that's been my message with a lot of those guys.
First of all, could you just explain? I'm assuming you're excited to be here. Just what it took to actually get here with the incident at the airport.
지금 신났는데 되게 시즌 기대가 되는데 며칠 좀 힘들었는데 지금 기분이 어떤지.
일단 이렇게 다시 선수들 만나게 돼서 기분 좋고, 또 이렇게 구단에서 하는 큰 행사에 참여하게 되어서 또 팬분들을 맞이할 수 있게 돼서 저도 너무 설렙니다.
Yeah, he's honestly he's just excited to get back with his players and his teammates and kicking it off with this fun event here. And seeing all the fans out here has been great, so he's excited.
Just if I may ask, is everything in order? The paperwork all in order now?
공항에서 된 정리 다 됐죠? 괜찮죠 이제?
주변에서 다 많이 도와주셔가지고 잘 정리했습니다.
Yeah, everything's been sorted out and kind of been handled, so everything's good to go from here.
In terms of fans, there's a lot of fans here. What are his thoughts of just as he's pulling in, seeing so many fans here for this event?
행사에 들어오는데 팬분들 많이 보이는데 그게 어떤 느낌이 드는지.
일단 큰 에너지를 받았고, 또 아직은 시작 전인데 빨리 시작해서 팬분들 만났으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah, he feels the energy off the bat. Obviously, the season hasn't started and everything's going underway, but we're really stoked for everything to get started.
Health-wise, how are you feeling?
건강하고 몸은
좋고, 준비도 잘한 것 같고, 몸도 좋고 기분도 좋습니다.
Yeah, he feels ready. Everything mentally feels sharp. His body feels great right now, so he's just excited to get started.
Sorry, I wrapped up a little bit late. How are you feeling after kind of what you had to deal with earlier this week in LA?
며칠 전까지는 좀 일어난 일이 많았는데 좀 어떤지 좀 괜찮은지.
뭐 괜찮고, 또 주변에서 구단도 그렇고 또 에이전트도 그렇고 주변에서 많은 분들이 도와주셔가지고 잘 해결할 수 있었습니다.
Yeah, obviously a bit hectic last few days, but glad everything's worked out. Got a lot of help from those around me and my agency and whatnot. So everything's good so far.
Any concern during that this may have been before, or did you know that immediately?
그 공항 때문에 뭐 더 걱정하는 일이 났는지 안 그런 그냥 그런 게 궁금하네요.
전혀 뭐 그런 거
그
없고.
전까지 걱정됐는지.
아, 그쵸. 거기 간 건 처음이니까 좀 걱정되긴 했었는데 그래도 다 많이 주변에서 도와주셔가지고 잘 해결했습니다.
Yeah, nothing too much he was worried about beforehand, but glad everything got sorted out and handled.
Can you explain what happened?
무슨 문제였는지 설명할 수 있는지.
그냥 뭐 갑자기 원래는 안 그랬는데 뭐 그냥 작은 서류 문제였다고.
Yeah, it was obviously just some miscommunication and some paperwork issues, but everything got handled, and glad to kind of move forward from here.
What were you missing? What was the paperwork miscommunication?
Yeah. 무슨 paperwork인지 근데 자세히는 안 말해주세요.
네, 그냥 이쁘게 필요한.
Yeah, just a general paperwork just to get into the country, nothing major.
Like a visa or some kind of card or what?
I don't think he wants to comment on the specific
what he said?
natures. Yeah.
Did Justin also have some problems?
혹시 저스틴 형도 문제 있었는지?
네, 그거 약간 여권 문제가 있어가지고.
He had some passport issues early on, but he'll be here next week.
How long were you detained? How long? Less than an hour.
공항에 얼마 동안 있었는지?
네, 안에 한 4시간 정도 있었고.
Yeah, he was at the airport for just a little bit over 4 hours.
What have you worked on most this offseason to prepare for the upcoming season?
네, 이번 업 시즌에 뭘 제일 준비했는지, 뭘 특별히 집중해서 훈련했는지 그게 궁금해요.
우선 아프지 않아가지고 재활이 아닌 정말 오프시즌 때 훈련만 했던 것 같고 그러다 보니까 이제 구단에서 스케줄을 줬고 그 스케줄이 정말 오로지 훈련만을 위한 스케줄이다 보니까 너무 재밌게 잘 소화했던 것 같아요.
Yeah, it was nice to have an off season where I wasn't injured and the body felt great, and got a great program from the coaching staff and getting to know them and get familiar with them. So it's been really exciting just to see what the coaching staff has planned for me, and heading into this next season, feeling great.
What do you sort of project for yourself, both offensively and maybe even defensively this year?
예를 들어서 그럼 수비에서 그 무슨 기대가 돼요? 뭐 어떤 선수가 되고 싶어요?
일단은 한국에서도 더 수비에 대해서 더 신경을 썼고 훈련도 많이 했고 그렇기 때문에 타격이야 기복이 있을 수 있다고 하지만은 수비에서만큼은 기복이 없는 선수가 되고 싶어서 좀 더 시간을 투자 많이 했어요.
Yeah, without a doubt. Defensively, wanted to sharpen up my skills there. So a lot of my training in the off season focused on my work on my defense and in the outfield. So really happy about the strides I made and excited about next season.
Is that outfield at Oracle, is that a little more challenging than you had expected?
오레코 파크의 그 아웃필드이 좀 더 생각보다 어려웠는지 적응되는지 좀 더 오래 걸렸는지 그게 궁금하네요.
그거는 그런 것 같기도 한데 뭐 사실 우리 홈구장이고 또 모두 다 같은 환경에서 뛰는 거기 때문에 홈 경기장을 쓰는 선수로서 더 잘해야 된다고 생각합니다.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't as hard as to get used to as I thought it would be, but knowing that the other players on the other side are in the same conditions as me gives me the confidence that I can go out and do a great job. So not too much I've thought about, but definitely used to it now.
What was it like having Tony and Willie Adamas and a lot of the other people from the organization come visit you?
감독님하고 윌리하고 한국에 보러 왔을 때 어떤 느낌이었는지 어떤 호감이었는지 궁금하네요.
엄청 놀라운 시간이었고 또 너무 재밌었고 너무 놀라운 시간이었고 지금 되돌아봐서 생각해봐도 좀 좋은 기억으로 남아 있는 것 같아요.
Yeah, no, it was super surprising and honestly really exciting to see that support from my teammates and coaches, and obviously really great to get off on a great foot there. So excited to build on those relationships this season.
What was the highlight with that group visiting you in your country? What was the highlight?
보러 왔을 때 뭐가 제일 기억이 남는지 제일.
그냥 많은 게 기억에 남는데 그래도 그 식당에서 다 같이 사인하고 온 거? 그게 기억.
Yeah, honestly, the whole trip stands out to me. It's something that I won't forget for the rest of my life. But if I had to pick one moment, definitely we got out to some nice Korean barbecue and had a great experience with the coaches and teammates.
Based on the conversation that you may have had with teammates or just people back in South Korea, how much do you think that trip can maybe help the Giants establish a bigger presence in South Korea compared to where it was before that trip?
이제는 자이언츠 조금 미국 나가서 조금 더 노력을 하려고 하는데 그런 노력을 하는데 어떻게 보이는지 어떻게 느껴지는지 그게 궁금해요. 이제
일단 제가 국제 선수로서 이렇게 구단에서 저의 나라까지 우리나라까지 좀 신경을 써준다는 느낌이 받아서 또 많은 한국 팬분들도 많이 좋아해 주시는 것 같고 그렇기 때문에 더 잘해야 된다는 책임감도 생기는 것 같아요.
Yeah, it's pretty evident the support that the Giants have in my home country in South Korea. And it's pretty cool to see the fans rallying around the team and getting excited about us over here in San Francisco. And so it's really cool to see the Giants investing and putting a bigger focus in my home country. And I'm really excited to kind of keep that momentum going.
What are your thoughts on the WBC and then in the WBC now facing some of your teammates potentially like Logan and maybe some other guys like that?
On that, wouldn't you have needed like documentation to leave South Korea? Just trying to put this together to make sure people are aware of what happened, but you needed documentation to leave the country. But why wouldn't that have worked in this country? Like, to go back on that.
아직 그 공항에서 문제가 좀 더 궁금하시는데 왜 그 필요한 종이든 서류든 그게 왜 없었는지 좀
사실 지금까지 들어오는데 문제가 없었으니까요. 네, 그냥 들어왔던 대로 들어온 거라고 해요. 원래 그냥 항상 들어왔던 대로 들어왔는데 갑자기 이번에 그랬다고.
Yeah, I've obviously it's not my first time coming back to the States, and so I'd been operating as I usually have been and brought everything I usually do, and it seems like it was just a misunderstanding this one time.
Oh, so you had everything you normally have. Correct. Do you think the political climate had something to do with it? Just the way with ICE and everything that they're looking out a little bit deeper, and you were focused on, rightly or wrongly?
혹시 그 폴리틱스하고 뭐 그런 신경이 써 있는지 그런 뭐 인생 그냥 문제 때문에 그런 이유가 조금 있었는지 근데 그냥 간단하게
아니요 그런 거 전혀 없었고 네. 그냥 뭐 큰 문제도 아니었고 네 그냥 뭐 절차를 밟다 보니까 그런 상황이 생긴 것 같은데 별 문제 없이 잘 해줘가지고 구단 또 에전시에서 잘 도와줘서 잘 해결했습니다. 큰 문제는 없습니다.
Yeah, I don't think I read too much into that. I don't think there's anything specific that I'm too worried about in that sense, and so I'm just glad it got resolved, and I'm back with my teammates.
Yeah. First of all, what are your thoughts for driving in here? I mean, this is one of the more crowded fan fests that I've been to.
Yeah, no, it was chaos, to be honest with you. First of all, it's such a phenomenal area. I've never been in this area in specific, so even just getting off the highway was kind of taking things in a little bit. And I don't even know what this center is actually labeled, but it's a tremendous area to host this event, and it's being filled out, which is great. But you got Webby and Jung Hoo, and I think fans are excited about Birdie's future, and the other guys are here, Roop's here, and E. Miller. So there's good reason why the fans are showing out.
Yes, you named all the great players that you have here, but a lot of the fans want to hear from you. What will your message be, however brief the encounter is that you have with them? What will you try to impart on them in the brief seconds you get to meet these fans?
Yeah, I think appreciation for the support. I had a good example I was talking about from the NFL, but when you win and lose a game, your fan base has a lot to do with it. Unfortunately, I come from a place where our fans really started to travel well on the road. They would even impact the road games, but certainly at home, certainly the vibe. I mean, you guys know as well as anything, or as well as anyone, that media has a great influence on things these days and opinions. And the more loyal the fan base, the more energetic, the more supportive, the better the team is. It's a simple equation for sure.
In college, you're a head coach. In Major League Baseball, you're the manager. Are there any challenges that you've encountered so far that maybe you were not anticipating as you transition from a head coach to the manager of the San Francisco Giants?
Remembering faces and names together, because there are so many people involved, and it is a smaller circle in college. There's not a minor league team. You are the scouting service. The one trainer is pretty much your trainer. So it's been great to meet the variety and the amount of people that I've met, but keeping them all straight and also making sure you build relationships with everybody. Again, after a win or loss, you look at both teams. Normally the team that's closer together as a group is a team that's victorious. So in order to do that with all these new faces and all the bodies in general that are involved in the organization and the team, there's going to be time need to be put in to build those relationships.
Regardless of the sport and regardless of the success you had in college, whether you're a player, a coach, making that jump to the next level, there's always a moment players say, I didn't know I belonged until this happened. Have you had that moment yet? And do you think it won't come until the first game, maybe the first practice, spring training?
Yeah, no, I think it's more reasonable to think that the games will have to start first and not even the spring training games. But I don't know what form or fashion it would come in. But I think what's very important, especially for the minor league guys that get brought up, because they're more important than I am, they're between the lines. You have to believe that you belong, whether it's true or not, or can be criticized or picked apart. If you don't have that self-belief, then things are going to fall down rather quickly, I think, for you.
How have your interactions been with the players that you've met so far and bringing everybody in to, I don't know if there's a point where you feel you got to convince people or you just go about your normal business. How are you approaching it?
Yeah, I think trying to be normal, but yeah, there's some guys I think I like too much. There is a little bit of a difference between player interaction and coach interaction, but when you're around a guy like Jung Hoo or, Rafi Devers' smile, lights up a room, you instantly feel a little bit connected, and it gives you a comfort zone that you fall into a little bit because it is a new environment. It's not quite like kindergarten. You're going to class for the first day, but whether it's a player joining a team or a coach, you're entering a new, surroundings, and anything that makes you feel comfortable is great.